Okay, so after many months of waiting, the Fun World Cup Finals is happening between Crescent on the left and Chicony on the right. This was their first game. I did not catch it, so we'll close it with little more to say. The second game, nope, that is not the second game, was it? One sec, let's find it. There we go. The second game, um, Crescent started in 3. He did not have a recapture in 2. So Chicony captured from 6. Makes sense. And Crescent recaptured safely in 9. So Crescent has the card in 6 and 9, Chicony has 3. Chicony did the thing that I think has the best chance to create a win and played Beatrix in 5. Capturing 6, there was no combo play against Beatrix. Also, because Chicony still had in his hand both Steiner, hard to highlight a card, but Steiner and Delita. If Crescent captured from either 2 or 8, Chicony would capture from the other of 2 or 8, locking it in with 10s facing out that neither side could take. And I think all those positions were winning. But I thought Crescent found a really cool save there that I really liked, so I wanted to quickly go back and show this. So the move order is 3, 6, 9, 5, and Crescent played 9, 2, 8, 9 in 1, setting up 926A as a threat in 2 with that plus on Irvine, as well as setting up 86A4 and 4. And this is always tricky because you have one card for each square, so you can't hold it for the end. And notably, Chicony is a combo square too. Either Steiner or Delita in 8 will give Chicony a huge combo back. Chicony, I think, smartly continued by blocking one of the combo squares, blocking in 2, but now 2 and 8 were paired. Crescent can play in 8, capturing and locking in 5. He's down 6-4, but 8-6-8-4 sweeps the endgame and is enough to get the tie. I thought this was a really nice game. I really enjoyed it. Wasn't so sure about the starter, but I thought it was fun and I wanted to cover it. And then they have a currently active game. They just started. Chicony started in 5. Both of these players, I think, quite like 5 starters, which are not to my taste in general. But you can see some reasoning behind it. For instance, multiple cards that have the plus wall in 6. Crescent's hand does not have the plus wall in 6. A card that has a plus wall in 4. And in general, maybe the weakest card in the hand. And you might think, no, that's 7, 8, 9, 5. But in some lines, that might be harder to recapture if you threw that out. And, the obvious corners for Chicony's hand were pretty well covered. So he threw something in 5. Again, not particularly to my taste, but certainly not the end of the world. And Crescent played in 8. Now, my first thought was this concedes some safety. Yuna now is safe in either 7 or 9 whenever she should land there. And so I think those are kind of the moves I'd check first. I think a lot of people check 1, 2, and 3 first. But if you can force the action, it's a pretty powerful effect. And notably, Chicony can plus wall a 9 facing up in 9. So the move I'd check first is Yuna in 7. Because if they can't play in 9, they're in a lot of trouble. And if they can play in 9, which card are they playing there? 9, 5, 5, 9 is comboed. So it's probably got to be 5A, 5, 9. And that we have a lot of access to. And then I wouldn't be sure from there. I suspect that position is not winning, but I suspect there's ways to apply some serious pressure. 7, 8, 9, 5, and 6 looks like an appealing move. I would guess not enough to win, but again, enough to be a little dangerous, give them a chance to screw up. And also, when they see that line, there's some chance they won't risk going in 9, because that feels scary. So that'd be the first thing I'd look at. I think there's also a few other ideas. But you don't have an obvious card to put in 1 or 3. Yuna can certainly land later, right? You're not in a rush to play Yuna. But given the difficulty of the opponent in capturing, it's a move that certainly appeals to me. Is there a way to play in 3 that sets up controlling Sid in 9? Sort of. Yeah, you could put Nuge in 3. Nugent 3 looks terrible for many reasons, though. And you're on second turn. Or you're on first turn, so you do get to sweep at the end. Yeah, I'd be thinking Yuna 7. And Yuna 7 is what we see. I should be inputting the moves in my database. This just felt logical to me. And now I think Crescent has to be quite careful. I think the one upside for Crescent is that after recapturing 8, 8 will be locked in, and Chicony, to grab 9, has to get rid of a combo square that is potentially useful for Chicony. But I don't know. I think the big question is, do you think Sid 9 ties here or not? And I think 7, 8, 9, 5, and 6 is quite dangerous. And I think almost anything in 2 is really dangerous, because Chicony has very good up-down sweepers and should fully control the up-down space of this game. So if you put something in 2, you probably don't want to put Nuge, because you don't want to give up combo potential. That's the one way it's trouble. And 7, 8, 9, 5 gives up combo potential to Rosa, so it's probably got to be 5, 7, A7, and 2. But before you play 9, you have to be confident that you hold against 7, 8, 9, 5, and 6, and against 5, 7, A7, and 2. And I think if you hold in both of those lines, you're probably fine. I think it's hard to lose if those aren't the moves that beat you, but I would be really scared of both of those moves. And that makes this position quite dangerous. Quite dangerous. It's hard to come up with another move type. Just skimming squares like 4, 1, 2, 3, 6. This seems like one of those positions where if 9 doesn't work, your odds of finding something that work are very slim. Because like the solver will often say like, oh, the solution is 9, 5, 5, 9, and 3. But to play 9, 5, 5, 9, and 3, you need to check 2, you need to check 4, you need to check 9. Sometimes there's stuff in 6, sometimes there's stuff in 1. You know, as a human, you either want to find paths that create something for you so you can cut through all this mess of just incredible amounts of calculation, or you need to make a move that's forcing, so there's a limited set of replies, so there's limited positions to calculate. So my goal would be reduce the number of positions to calculate and then work from there. So specifically, Sid in 9, I think there's 2 key moves Chicony can play in response. If there's something else that's more dangerous, I've missed it. That's okay. You'll miss things. We're not going to calculate everything. And if it holds against those, I would trust it. And if it does not hold against those, then we got to find something else. But it's pretty chaotic because it's hard to find a move that doesn't start locking in stuff for the opponent. For instance, like in a slightly different position, you could imagine stick something in 1. It looks weird, but they block 4. Maybe you make a threat in 4. They block 4, and then you can play Sid in 2, and you have 1, 2, and 5 locked in. But here, 2 and 5 are not locked in. 1 would be comboable through 2. Like, it doesn't work here. And so there's a lot of sort of conceptions like that. I think that, you know, there's ideas here that would hold in 1, would hold in 2, would hold in 3. But fundamentally, you don't want to create a kind of T-type structure where the up-down matters, because your hand is not built for up-down. This is a kind of hand where you want like corners and other stuff in play, not where you want the game, I think, in a structure. Fundamentally, you don't have 10s in your hand, and the 10s you do can be beaten. And that makes it, I think, difficult to defend structures specifically, and especially ones that are going down, right? You'd much rather a side-to-side Z, right? Say 1, 4, 5, 6, 9, than an up-down Z like 1, 2, 5, 8, 9. Because your hand has a advantage side-to-side, you know, Sid beats things. So okay, I should probably try to actually figure out if Sid 9 holds, I guess. I guess that's something I should spend some time on. I've been sort of not wanting to calculate, so I've been talking extemporaneously. But Sid 9, let's say 7, 8, 9, 5, and 6. That was the first of the two lines I came up with. We have multiple ways to take it. The score will be, we will be trailing 6-4, right? Because the score is currently 5. No, it will be 5-5. We will have cards in 5 and 8. If we capture them with either 7, 9, 8, 4 or 6, 8, 8, 6, we will be up 6-4. They can take with either of their two remaining cards in 2, going up 6-4. If they go somewhere else, we block 2 and we're fine. So they have to go in 2 to try to win. They go up 6-4, and as long as we can take that card, which we can if we have either 6, 8, 8, 6 or 7, 9, 8, 4, we should tie. All right, so 5, 8, 5, 9 has been played, and I do not think 7, 8, 9, 5, and 6 wins. I think you can just go 3 and you hold. Incidentally, I think Crescent and Chicony have both played really fantastically this tournament. I think Chicony is certainly the favorite. I'm not saying anything strange there. But Crescent has done some really impressive things recently. He earned quarterfinals in Nephilim, beating Chicony in the first round, I believe. And also came very close to me, knocking me out in the first round of Triad Wars. So I've been really impressed by Crescent's play. I'd never seen him play much, and he doesn't seem to play a lot. But when I do see him play, it's pretty impressive, and I really liked how he handled the last game. So I think the big question now is, I think it's Princess Moonbrook, 5-7-A-7? I think that's Princess Moonbrook. Does Moonbrook in 2 win? It makes the score 5-5, right? It's currently 6-4. Against anything in 4, that would make it 6-4 Crescent, and you would take it with Nuge, and it would be 5-5 and 7-8-9-5 sweeps, and their only captures in 1, but then 7-8-9-5 double captures. So if you go in 2, 4 loses. How about 1? If they take from 1, you're down 6-4, but they cannot take it without walking into combos. Yeah, that's just going to lose. 1 loses. Yeah, 1's a loss. If Crescent goes in 6, they don't capture anything. You capture with Nuge, and doesn't 7-8-9-5 sweep again? Yeah. And if they go in 3, they're capturing 1 thing, you're capturing 2 with 7-8-9-5. Yeah. I think Moonbrook in 2 should be a win. But I think 9 was probably the best try. I'm going to bring up the solver for me, just because I am curious, and I've done all the calculation I'm up for tonight. But I suspect Chicony's winning, but I suspect this was a really hard position for Crescent to save. I think the move in 7 was really strong, and yeah. Fundamentally, this is a great example, if it works for Chicony, or if it doesn't, of the center attack, right? Of this idea of you go in 5, and then once they've played, they've created 2 squares that have only one side out facing, and if you can grab safety there, you're good. It should be noted Crescent went down to like 3 seconds on his move. This was not clearly a position that he was looking for options and not finding ones he liked, so I think he tried to do something non-committal. And Chicony did a really nice job attacking it. I think this is a high-level game, regardless of what happens. And kind of a sign that the traditional way of playing center starters, where you aim for a J setup, is not the best way of playing these. It's really often going to be forcing the action with the center attack kind of thing. At least that's my belief. It's not really, yeah, I very rarely play center starters. But It is interesting, and you can force structures more directly from them, which might appeal against a hand that doesn't have many 10s. That might be an interesting strategy, specifically in this kind of setup. So, checking after the move in 8. Yeah, the solver says the move in 8 is just losing. It's losing to either Yuna in 7 or Yuna in 9. But it also is losing to Yuna in 1 or Yuna in 3, which are not moves I seriously considered. It loses to a lot. There's a bunch of moves in 1, Nuge in 2. Alright, 7 different moves win here. But I think Chicony played the logical 1 and 7. And I think the best try was 9. I think Crescent defended well. Now, apparently there's 3 winning moves here. I thought the winning move was Moonbrook in 2, which does win. But there's other wins as well. I thought 7, 8, 9, 5, and 6 does not win, and it does not because of 7, 9, 8, 4, and 3. They can capture from 3. Oh, I said either capture in 3 works, but 6, 8, 8, 6 walks into a plus, so that was ridiculous. But Nuge in 6 here wins, which I didn't really think about. I assumed 7, 8, 9, 5 was the way to go, because it's harder to capture, but you have 9, 5, 5, 9, and 3 covered, so I don't know why I played afraid of that. And the third winning option here for Chicony, which doesn't mean I'll find it, because this isn't like trivial to find or anything, is a 5, 7, A7, and 6 wins as well. So there are 2 wins in 6 and a win in 2. Did Chicony find it? No. Chicony did not. Which is to say, you sometimes look at these games and you think like, oh, they had a winning position, that's easy to find. But these are 2 good players playing at a high level, and like, I thought the card in 6 should be 7, 8, 9, 5, right? That was wrong. I didn't think it through well. 9, 5, 5, 9, and 3 is covered, so we don't need a particularly high number facing out. We also don't need to be that worried about flipping 5 because there's not much combo potential through it. But I saw an idea in 2, and I saw an idea in 6, and I didn't see other ideas in 6, so I missed 2 winning lines. But let's actually not just like say, okay, the solver said it's a tie. I've now closed the solver, so we have to find the way to tie on our own, and that doesn't mean it's trivial. Very good player just played this, so there is a good chance something quite tricky is going on. I kind of think we have to block 4. If we put something in 6, it probably has to be 9, 5, 5, 9, because anything else, and I'm really scared of combos with 5, 7, A7, but I think I'm just really scared of combos with 5, 7, A7, and 4. Chicony has set up a very scary combo. So I think we have to block there. Let's say we block with... I probably need to keep my side-to-side 9s. So I probably want to start with 6, 8, 8, 6. But that flips something I don't want to flip, right? That flips 1. And 7, 9, 8, 4 flips 1. So this is tricky, right? Because if I put 9, 9, 9, 5, 5, 9 in 4, I get comboed through 6. And I lose. So I think anything in 4 loses. So my first instinct does not work. We are up 6-4. Anything in 2 must lose. Because they're going to flip 5. That will make it 5, 5. And Nuge will flip at least one more thing, and I won't flip anything back. So the answer can't be in 2. Not that 2 seemed very likely, but now I guess we try 6. Can we walk into something where we can combo back? Maybe, yeah? Because we can play 9, 5, 5, 9, and 6. And now, if Moonbrook lands in 4, sure, that flips the extra card, 5 and 6, we're down 6-4, but we can play 7, 9, 8, 4 in 2, and that makes it 5, 5, and we hold. If they play Nuge in 4, It's 5-5, and we can play. We lose. No, sorry, of course. We go in 2 again with a 9 facing out. We flip 5 back, we're up 6-4, and they flip 1 back and we tie. If they go in 2, this is obviously not very scary. We go in 4, we're delighted. And if they go in 3, that makes it 5-5. But we can simply flip them from 2. We won't flip anything extra. So we'll be up 6-4, 5-5. I think 9-5, 5-9 in 6 is our tie. I didn't check 3. But I think anything else in 6, and when they combo through 5, it's going to flip 9 and 8 as well, and we have no combo back, so that's hopeless. So the last possible thing is checking 3. And whenever you find something anywhere else, it feels like just not going to be worth the time to check 3. But I think here specifically, there's no point checking 3, because Chicony will reply with Nuge and 6, and Moonbrook has the combos everywhere, and you're down 6-4. And specifically, if you combo in 4, Moonbrook's combo in 2 flips 1, which flips 4 back, which goes through 5. So you're never getting like a part of the combo they don't chain back. It's all chaining back. So I think 9-5, 5-9, and 6 is forced. And this is to say, like, a ton of the time when I've gone through games really good players have played and tried to keep stats on them, of like how often do players miss wins, how often do players miss ties. The number of times top players miss wins, they often still win that game. It's a really frequent event, right? Because they had a very good position and they found something that applies a ton of pressure. And usually they're still going to win with that move. This move is still, I don't know. I mean, I have a lot of faith in Crescent right now. So I think he'll find it, but it's something like 55-45, right? I think this is not a trivial find, and when people miss wins, they usually win anyway. At least in kind of comparable situations to this. And so, actually, one of the stats I was keeping was, what percentage of games do you reach a winning position? What percentage of games where you reached a winning position do you win? And what percentage of winning games, when you reached a winning position, did you play perfectly from? Because these are all different questions, right? The first is just how often do you create winning chances? And, you know, you'd be pretty unsurprised by the list of who creates the most. But I'm actually not all that high on that list. I'm better at converting than I am at creating, which is something I should probably work on. But I play cautiously. Smokes has a really high chance creation rate. And then you have, you know, games you were winning. Like Chicony was winning this game. How often does he win? At this point, with 20 seconds left, I now think he's going to win this game. Oh, no, I no longer do. 9-5-5-9 has been picked up. I've switched back. Crescent has picked up the right card, in my opinion. And I think he's found it, unless I calculated this wrong. So I was wrong. Crescent does find it. Or at least I was right the first time, then wrong the second as I panicked. But, yeah. But I think Crescent finds the only save here. I'll actually bring the solver back up just to make sure there were no other saves. Because if I miss something, I would feel sad. And it's always worth making sure you feel sad if possible. But, yeah. So, how Chicony played this, I think he still wins this game a whole lot. Not 100%, because it wasn't perfect here, but a whole lot of the time. And so I think saying, like, this was, you know, a serious mistake or something would be sort of right, but sort of wrong, too. And he went from moves that were guaranteed to win to moves, yeah, there was only one tie. It was 9-5-5-9 and 6. Very nice by Crescent. But maybe this actually speaks to the starter in 5 was a lot better than I thought it was. Maybe one explanation is Crescent's hand lack of 10s. by not giving him targets, Crescent's double numbers didn't have things to play well off, right? And specifically by having the 10 facing out from 5, these double numbers that are all touching, that are corner doubles, are just never going to have much play. And so Chicony does a starter type where Crescent's double numbers go from being a powerful way to deal with 10s to a kind of awkward thing that has no targets. And Crescent has no 10s, or very few 10s in his hand, on second turn, meaning it's going to be hard for him to defend, right? Chicony is going to have captures available. Crescent doesn't find some kind of setup he really likes, ends up playing a move that feels non-committal, but it ends up being quite a weak move, and Chicony takes advantage with the move I wanted played, Yuna in 7, which puts real difficulties on Crescent. Either he goes 9, or it's just very hard to imagine he holds. Crescent does go 9. He does the move that has a chance to hold. Now it turns out Chicony could win there either by seeing I dominate going down and going in 2, having a good feel for structures, or, that was the one I spotted, or spotting that the obvious card to put in 6, at least to me, 7, 8, 9, 5 is not the answer. The other cards were more powerful cards to put in 6. I think either of those could get you there, but Chicony found a really high combo potential path to apply pressure, and I'm pretty impressed that the Crescent survived this. I think, imperfect play in a finals. Incidentally, in the prior game, Chicony also applied a lot of pressure. He didn't miss any wins there, and Crescent also found a really good save with the you probably forgot by now, but the 3, 6, 9, 5, 1 move order was a really nice save by Crescent. So I think this is a cool match. I'm excited to see what happens. I like how this one was played, even if it didn't convert. Because I think 1 was a really tricky move for Chicony to throw at Crescent here. And was very, very close to working. And I don't know how Crescent uses time. It is possible he had the tie in the bag the whole way and just lets time get down to 20 seconds, checking everything. It is possible that he is a very deliberative calculator who was going through everything steadily, and it took till 20 seconds left to make sure he had it, but also he was going to check everything in time. And it's also possible it was really scary and he only got there in the last second. I just don't know, but either way, it's a good save. It's a very good save. And this is the kind of tie I think you should be proud of, because you played 1 bad move. You played 1 move in 8. Your first move of the game, you did something kind of non-committal, and your opponent was so good and your hand was so bad that you were lost immediately. And not a move where you just put out a card they could take and have for free in some super obvious way. And you found a way to save it. You played the move in 9 that I think was the only move to try, and then you found the save in 6 when it was offered to you. And you used your sideways 8s really well to hold on and not let them sweep you at the end. So it's a game that feels miserable, but I think is actually had a tough hand, had 1 move where I was planless, and survived an onslaught. From Chicony's side, I think you got serious pressure off your starter. You gave them a position they could really easily screw up, and you didn't quite convert. But in general, people don't defend tough positions that often consecutively. Right? I've stressed this so many times. But you've now had 2 games where Chicony had to find a really, really good move to try to hold. And it's just really hard to keep holding those positions. So nothing here changes my perspective that I believe Chicony is still the favorite to win this. But I also think Crescent has defended really well. And if the right hand comes, I'm excited to see what he can do. I do think of these 2, Chicony is a very decorated player. It would be fun to see Crescent win this. But I would be happy for either, and I think they've played some cool games. I don't know if they're continuing, and I believe I have to go either way, so we'll leave it there. But I'm glad I caught a little of this because I haven't covered the Fun World Cup much, and I think this is a cool finals. I think in general, Chicony is likely to find ways to pressure, and Crescent's really gonna have to be smart and careful to keep surviving. But I also think he can. And having played him, I know Crescent can apply pressure to you, and if you do kind of conventional things, you can find yourself in surprisingly nightmarish positions. So we'll stop here.